Hey guys, Josh here from Sportitude Running. In front of me, I've got the New Balance FuelCell Rebel version 4. A very exciting shoe coming into its fourth iteration, obviously. This shoe is landing here in Australia the first week of March of 2024. It has already gone live in the US and the reviews so far have been very, very positive. Now, we had to wait till this date, being February, to do a review here in Australia. We had to obviously follow some guidelines from New Balance Australia to make sure we didn't go early. This pair here, though, I have had since November last year, and I've been lucky enough to put some kilometres into this shoe, get an understanding of what it is all about. It's a huge change for New Balance from version 3, and I'd usually do a comparison review, but I think the two shoes are so different. We're going to treat this shoe in its entirety as it's a new shoe to market and talk to you about all the significant features from the outsole, the midsole, and the upper. Profile the person that should be using it, also give you my subjective opinion at the end of this review to let you know if I enjoyed it or not. So, without further ado, let's get stuck in. Okay, let's talk all things upper first. New Balance have used the Phantom Fit construction, and it looks extremely similar to what you see in the Supercomp Elite version 4. However, there are a couple of subtle differences. You have in and around the same amount of material through the toe box in reference to how it feels in terms of volume, space, and width, as well as, I would say, the very similar ventilation channels through the toe box. The tongue itself is very similar again, so almost the same amount of thickness and breathability channels through that top. However, the biggest difference is this shoe here, being FuelCell Rebel version 4, has a gusseted tongue. Strangely, I thought the Supercomp Elite version 4 was not gusseted, which I think is a bit of a strange move for a performance shoe, but hey, only time will tell. But this shoe has a gusseted construction, which I like. It gives you a really good conform fit on top of that arch and allows for a really good stabilized feel through the mid stance of this shoe. As you're coming back, we have an internal heel collar on play. It is not as noticeable. It's very refined, so don't think this is going to feel like a 1080 or an 860, for example, in reference to how much support. Very refined upper on the internal heel collar as well, so not a lot of memory foam, but again, that's all about reducing the weight in this shoe. It's still very comfortable, and I found this shoe to be stable enough up top. So look, you could probably put a little bit more support around the back of this heel counter. All that will do is add to the overall weight, and it may just throw out the counterbalance of the overall weight of this shoe. But all in all, very nice and light, extremely breathable upper with reference to FuelCell Rebel version 4. Okay guys, talking all things outsole first. You can see straight away there is more outsole through the forefoot. There is a strategic rubber being placed at the back for the person who does come down heel first. However, through the front half of this shoe, there's a lot more rubber. Two main flex grooves on offer. One flex groove that's closer to the medial side, which runs in the vertical line of this shoe, and one that's closer to the lateral side. The reason these flex grooves run in relation to that transition through the Z-axis is because if you had them horizontal, even diagonal like we have with 1080 version 13, the shoe itself would be way too flexible because this midsole is light and it's soft. So if you pictured the flex grooves going across, it would have way too much bend through the forefoot and it just would not feel comfortable, and the release would be quite harsh and aggressive on that forefoot. So again, structuring that forefoot up to give it a little bit more structure and integrity, and also some longevity in reference to the midsole performance. Okay, let's talk all things midsole next. There's a bit to break down here. First things first, we have the fuel cell technology. Now, the fuel cell technology in Rebel V4 is a combination of Pebax and CO2 nitrogen-infused EVA. So there's a bit going on there. The Pebax makes up around 20% of the midsole component, which gives it that responsive feel through the overall transition. And the balance of materials is going to obviously play to that longevity and also the element of cushioning which you seek in a shoe like this. Now, you can see it does have very similar characteristics to the Supercomp Elite version 4. However, it is closer to the ground. 30mm on the heel, 24 on the forefoot for that offset of 6mm. And we do have the cutaway components, or you could say a lot of effort has gone to the overall engineering geometry of this shoe. Now that's to reduce weight, but not to sacrifice an overall performance and stability. So the shoe itself, again, a little bit closer to the ground than the Supercomp Elite version 4. There is no carbon plate on offer with this shoe, so it is more flexible in reference to its overall performance in the midsole, and that's in conjunction with that outsole, which we touched on a second ago. The more coverage through the forefoot and those vertical flex screws will provide a little bit more integrity through the front half, so the shoe doesn't become really flexible on release. Okay, couple of key stats, then I'll break it into my subjective opinion. Okay, this shoe is very light. Men's size 9.5 is 197 grams, and the ladies size 7.5 is coming in at 157. As I've touched on before, the stack height, 30 mil on the heel, 24 on the forefoot for that offset of 6 millimeters. Now, pause, have a breather, because I want to tell you how I found this shoe to perform for me. It is insanely light and it is insanely soft. So, there's going to be a lot of people that just triggers some emotion in reference to weight and in reference to density of foam. It screams a lot of fun and it screams enjoyment, but you've got to be very careful with reference to putting this shoe on your foot and what you're going to be using it for. I overdid it too much in my first run in this shoe back in November. I got out the door and went for 15 Ks, and that was way too much in reference to me using this shoe for a long run. However, where this shoe sung for me was when I rolled it into some interval training and used it for some fartlek sessions. Floating this shoe was effortless, but when you want to pick up the pace and put some force through that midsole, it performs quite nicely. However, I must say that there won't be a lot of people that will gravitate towards this for mileage. I've heard some people that have reviewed this shoe that said, yeah, they could use it for easy day long runs as well. However, I certainly think there's a lot more shoes out there that will offer a very similar experience in reference to cushioning, but you're going to get a lot better support and overall longevity with the midsole as well. I'm anticipating, this shoe to last anywhere between 300 to 500 kilometers. It might be a little bit less for some, it might be a little bit more for others. So it's not really designed to be a true mileage shoe and last forever and ever, and you wouldn't expect that with the weight and the density of foam on this offset. So again, I say take that with a grain of salt. Is there any shoe similar to this? Absolutely not. I really mean that. Some reviewers out there have said that, comparing this to Nova Blast from ASICS, and I truly think the two are totally different in reference to outcome and performance. They may talk to the same cohort of runners, that lightweight, either pick up pace or easy day long run shoe, but two totally different shoes in my opinion. The Rebel V4 is so light and so soft. The Nova Blast V4 is light, but it's more stable and it will last longer. So it depends on what you're looking for with reference to the overall outcome of your shoe in comparison to those two models in discussion. So again, I haven't done a review on V3 to V4 today because I don't think it's relevant. This shoe is so different to V3 and we're almost treating it as if it's a new shoe to market. So guys and girls, if you've got any questions in reference to this shoe, please drop a comment in the comment section below. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do so. Hit the red button, stay notified, and we'll keep knocking out these shoe reviews for you, the magnificent running community all around the world. And more importantly, if you've used V3 or the previous versions of Rebel, let us know how that shoe has gone for you. And also, if you've been lucky enough to use this little guy, we'd love to know how it has gone and what your expectations were after using this new and exciting model from New Balance. So, until next time, stay safe, be kind to one another. We'll see you out the road. Take care.